Good evening, people. I am here to do a stream about some badge life stuff. But first, I got to figure out how to mute that. There we go. So yeah, the badge life scene is well underway, and I'm working on the next badge. So I'm looking for help with this one. I had several people in the DFW area offer to help, and they are not online tonight. So figured I'd do a little stream and show what the idea is. So the DEF CON 31 theme is the future will prevail. And so what I'm thinking is, oh yeah, a Back to the Future badge. Something along this sketch line, where we'll have a nice DeLorean in full silvery glory as its capacitive touch. And yeah, I've actually started some of the principal artwork. So that is what it's looking like so far. And what we're looking at doing is doing a double board design. So we can have a PCB in front with the capacitive touch and all the artwork, and some voids, some solder mask voids. And then behind will be the PCB that has most of the electronics, and not really got a circuit design laid out yet, but thinking lots of blinky lights and some type of an MCU. I don't know whether I'm going to go with a Pi 2040 or an ESP, something along those lines. And this way we can keep it with the two boards. We can keep all the electronics kind of hidden, but still give you the flashy look. So if this excites you and you want to work on a badge like this, you need to let me know, and I will bring you into the badge community, and we have a repository and a Discord channel that we're using for collaboration. But we are a little behind the eight ball because it's almost May, and yeah, that only gives us like 3 months to get everything done. So while the artwork is started, that's not a circuit, it's not a badge. A lot more work has to be done to go into this. So yeah, on this stream, I'm just gonna start throwing ideas on paper, in the hopes that someone out there finds this cool, and you will want to join the badge team and make this thing a reality. So yeah, let me see. Do I even have anyone online? No. Well, it's going to be recorded and put up on YouTube as well. So let's mark this guy up. So what I'm thinking is we're going to need some traditional LEDs as well as some RGB LEDs. Whether they're NeoPixels or regular RGB, haven't decided yet. But the idea is if we put some, like in the flame area, if we put some regular LEDs all throughout here, that could be just either red or orange or a combination of red and orange. Then we could get a different color. We could then put a few of the RGB LEDs in some strategic places. That way when we program it, we can we'll do PWM on some of these so that we can dim and brighten the regular LEDs. And then on these guys, we can actually have some flashing effects going on to where it'll go flash white or flash yellow or whatever we want to do to give it that fire effect, right? So I don't think we need too many of those, but probably at least one over there and maybe 2 or 3 in this line. And then once we have that, we have to do a similar thing on the lightning. So that's where we'll go with a bunch of traditional LEDs all through here, because these are all going to be like clear windows through the PCB, a lot of this stuff. So we can put a lot of these here. That will be either blue or maybe a couple white mixed with blue. That way it can light up this area. And then also we'll put some of the RGB LEDs throughout here. This way we can do that flashing effect again for the lightning flashing, right? Now another thing that is not in the artwork yet is I'm thinking about someplace in the background here having kind of like the house with the clock, the town square house from Back to the Future. And then we could, if we have the clock tower, that's what it is, a clock tower, not a house. We could put the clock and maybe put some LEDs behind that to light up the clock. And then throughout here, I was thinking maybe have some areas on the inside that light up, but those could just be like some traditional LEDs that light up the cockpit. Then with the capacitive touch, we can actually program it to change what it's doing, do the flashing or anything like that. So that's kind of what the idea is at this point. Now, this is a huge blow up. We're talking about doing all of this on a badge about this size. So this will be shrunk down. It'll be something about this size. I really don't want to go any bigger than this because this is quite large for a badge. So thinking that's a good size. And I've done larger and they get unwieldy. So yeah, it'll be shrunk down to something along that size. So that's kind of the plan there. As far as the electronics go, you can see it's pretty easy so far. I'm just laying out LEDs, but I'd like to do some other cool things with this. So I'm not sure what yet. Whether we do something with wireless. That's why I was mentioning an ESP. Yeah, because an ESP has built-in wireless, so maybe we can have it react somehow to wireless signals if it sees something. I don't know, I'm just spitballing ideas there. Or, I mean, we could simply make it programmable over wireless. That way you can actually access it to change what it's doing, like have different modes that you can set. That seems simplistic, though. I mean, I could easily just add a button to it and change the modes with the button, but we have capacitive touch that we can make it do different things with. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking so far. Yeah, not sure of cool ideas. And then I like to do some cool like hidden art as well. So like a lot of this white space, I'm probably going to fill in with a lot of little tiny details all through here to make it not just white space. It's actually going to have a lot of art all through here, all around here. So this is just the basic art right now, and then we're going to fill it in, kind of like I did with this guy. If you look at this guy, there's lots of little details, and I was able to hide the crypto challenge in there. I plan on doing something similar with this, lots of little details in the artwork, and then maybe hide some things in there that could be some cool little challenges or some other info. I don't know. So yeah, that's where I am at. And then for those that are looking to work on a badge, it can be anything. It can be from doing artwork to working on the circuit design to programming firmware. Right now, I do it all for my badges. So I'm just looking for someone to help with this one because it is a lot. And I'm trying to spread the load and get more people involved because during the con and the other events, everyone is like, I would love to work on a badge. I want to be on a badge team. And even after the con, yeah, next time you do a badge, let's get a badge team together. But then life happens, people get busy, it doesn't happen. So this is my call for badge life people that want to make badges. So if you want to help, let me know, and we will make that happen. So let me see what else I got. So yeah, I gotta find the right window. There it is. So turn that off, and we will turn on the display. So yeah, right now all the art's done in Adobe Illustrator, and this is necessary because I export from here the vector art. I can export this to a file format that I can import directly into the EDA software, KiCad. And this year I'm going to be using KiCad 6, where I think last year's badge I was still on 5. But since 7 was released, I figured I should get up to speed and get upgraded to 6 at least. So yeah, we'll be doing KiCad 6, and that'll be the design software for the PCB. And we do the schematic in there as well for the circuit design. But yeah, if you're interested in the art, this is all Illustrator. I can like highlight different layers, so you can see that's the text. And we have the lightning as its own layer. And so what I'm going to have to do with this is really just a rough draft right now. I'm going to have to take some of these things that are going to be solder voids, and where I have like artwork here now, I'm going to have to actually fill these sections in, because this is not going to go on the silkscreen layer. This is why I'm kind of breaking them out into their own layers. We'll have a silkscreen layer, which might look something more like that, and then this section and this section, instead of being just lines like this, it might be solid, with that going on the solder mask layer on both the top and the bottom, so that it makes those clear outlines. And actually what I'm thinking is maybe have some of this be the silkscreen layer, and then do another layer under, like inside of this, that can be the voids. That way we do have like the artwork around it, and then we'll have the voids. But yeah, there's lots of work to do with the art, because right now just concept really. And that is the plan. Now as far as the two badges, or the two PCBs going together, I want to try to avoid screws. I did screws on the last year's badge, and that worked fine, but they're a pain to source, and they're a pain for people to use, and so many people lost screws. So what I'm thinking is, if we had two PCBs and we do one with a female and one with a male, so we'll just stick that together, that gives us that much clearance between the PCBs. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen again. All right. So if we have two PCBs and we have a male and a female header, one is on one PCB, one's on the other, it gives us this much clearance, which is enough for most through-hole LEDs. So if we have this type of clearance, what we can do is get like NeoPixels or RGB LEDs that are actual through-hole, as well as the traditional LEDs that are through-hole, and make this a badge that people can solder together themselves. This way they have options. They don't have to go with the actual LEDs I provide if they want to do something else. But yeah, I think people love the solder your own badge together, and so we'll do some that we'll put all together for people that want to just buy it pre-made. But I love the idea of people being able to actually solder this together themselves, and still have it being like a dual board badge that looks really cool. And then as far as On the in-between, if we're using big diffused LEDs like that, we're going to have light coming out. Where if they were surface mount LEDs, and the surface mount is like laying flat, it doesn't have as much side to side light, right? It's going to be shining straight up. Where if we have like this and get an LED, you can see where there's going to be a lot of light coming out of the sides of that, because it's being diffused by this plastic head on it. And so what that means is we could have like a glowy effect, and what we can do is make the backboard maybe a little bit larger than the front board that way, and then expose some copper there. That way it'll have like a reflective edge around there. That could be cool. Or we might even be able to do some 3D printed parts to diffuse it even further. But yeah, 3D printed parts is a lot of work. So that would be time dependent. So maybe that's an option that we can add into it. But yeah, it should be cool to have that glowy effect around the whole front badge on the back. As far as other things that we're considering, we got to look at power until we know what kind of MCU we're going to use, what microcontroller we're going to use to drive this thing. It's hard to come up with like power requirements. Typically in the past I've been using alkaline batteries, AA's or AAA's. And that seems to work well because people can source them if the battery dies, and you're not having to build charge circuits and things like that. But yeah, it kind of sucks if you have to spend a lot of money on batteries if they don't last long. So that'll be the key too, is can the badge last for 2 or 3 days on a single set of batteries that are alkaline? If the answer is yes, then we'll probably do that because it's easier to deal with. Not just on the badge, but even shipping. If we're shipping a bunch of LiPo batteries, that's a pain in the ass. So yeah, we have that. So we'll have to look at the power requirements to figure out what type of battery we'll use, whether we'll go with LiPo or go alkaline again. But the alkalines really worked well for my past few badges, so I like that idea, and hopefully we can stay under the milliamp hour requirements to make that happen. So, well, that is about it. This was just a short little presentation on what I'm working on as far as badge life. So yeah, if you're interested in helping, reach out, and I'm probably going to be doing this once a week for a while. I'll try to. Not sure if we'll stick with Thursday night. That does seem to work best. But yeah, I'll put an announcement out on the Twitter and all the other sites on meeting times. But yeah, if I get a regular stream going, then as we build this badge, rather than keep it hidden and do a reveal at the end, it'll be more of a you can follow along as the badge is being designed and built week by week on the way to the DEF CON journey. So I think that could be cool, even if you're not actually helping with the badge. People might think that's really cool. So yeah, this will be hopefully the first of many streams to come, and we'll have more content to make the next one longer. But yeah, this is just a short, 15-18 minute stream. And yeah, hope to talk to you all soon. And happy badge life. Talk to you all later.